Welcome to the very last session of the CX Camp Summit. This has been a heck of a lot of event. So thank you everyone for being so active. And here we have a special guest who was supposed to be a pre-recorded session, but then last second, Shalin was able to make it live, and I'm so excited for him to be here. And Shalin with a company called HappyFox, and we're going to talk about leveraging AI to boost revenue using customer service.
Thank you so much, Natalie. So, thank you everyone for joining the session. I'm glad everyone could make it. So, today we're going to talk about leveraging AI to boost revenue using customer service as your key uh, tool. And before we dive in, I want to kind of go into this favorite meme of mine, which reminds me of my 2018 days when we started building our first AI based product. And the Buzz Lightyear is me, and then the Woody is also me, getting both excited and confused on how much that can be done with the AI capabilities in the customer service space. So, with that said, I want to give a quick, background into HappyFox. We've been around for more than 8 years. We primarily started as a help desk system of record for customer service to manage their ticketing and flow, whether it's from email, social media, or text. And then we went into more real-time communication with our chat platform and our help desk and our mobile help desk, which will let companies actually also take conversations inside mobile apps. And then we venture into bots. And with the introduction of bots, we realized that there's so much AI can do in responding with knowledge that is already built into the help desk platform. But we also wanted to take one step further in um, taking the bots to perform workflows behind the scene for the customer. And this is where we introduced our HappyFox workflow, which would basically orchestrate any process to be able to serve the customer better. And to get all of this, the right from your help desk all the way to workflows, have a single pane of glass which gives you the truth and uh, the trends. And that's where we introduced HappyFox BI. So we've come to build a whole platform that touches every channel and also gives you all the metrics as customer service leaders to make decisions. So, with that said, let me dive into today's agenda. So, we're going to talk about customer service challenges, everything that every customer service team goes through, whether you're in an industry which is B2C or you're serving B2B customers. It's very likely that you have these challenges, and we'll talk about how these challenges are interrelated. We also want to briefly talk about benefits of AI in customer service, how the most basic AI could deliver some amazing results right off the bat, and then talk a little more about bots, and then we'll move to automation because automation is the if AI is like the heart of the system, and we're basically getting all of the intelligence is like the brain behind and trying to automate things by sending the right signals and triggering the right events. So and we'll see how all of this translates into revenue growth, and we'll conclude with some interesting metrics from our own HappyFox use case. So with that said, I think if you look at the deck, none of these are new to you, I'm sure. We all are dealing with all of this on a daily basis. But I think what I want to point out is, whether it's growing support volume or, we want to improve our response time and retention and CSAT score, these are not independent challenges. These are all interrelated challenges. They happen, um, in context with each other. So So as you have volume growth, you would see reduction. The first impact you will see is the reduction in response time, and that would lead to poorer CSAT score, which will lead to poor retention of customers and then retention of employees. So it's kind of can have a snowball effect, and our goal is to address all of these problems and try to use AI and automation to individually tackle all these problems and see how we can tackle all of these together as well. Now, with benefit of AI, we can ensure that every team becomes a 24/7 team. The bot is, think of it as yet another agent. The more you train, the more available it is to your customers with more knowledge, right? So it allows you for 24/7 operation. And this is extremely critical in time sensitive issues, right? So when you have a customer who needs something, either they're not able to log in, or they want to find what is the cancellation process, or they want to cancel an order right before it's shipped, or they want to add an additional product to their order before the shipment begins. So all these are very time sensitive and they might happen extremely last minute. And this is where AI is enables that 24/7 deflection and enabling customers to reach out to make those requests come through. Now, customers have traditionally used email, phone, and live chat, but AI offers a whole new touch point and can be applied at all of these layers, which makes customers' experience intuitive. And it can also organize, it can be an organized touch point. Think of a very, very intelligent IVR, which takes the customer through the steps so that they don't even have to they don't have to find exactly what to say to make things happen, but it could be a very organized touch point, which would lead to a better customer experience. Now, with that said, we would see a reduced average response time, uh, which leads to increased CSAT score, brand loyalty, referrals, and effectively reduction in churn rate. So, but so how do we do this? Is basically we would leverage NLP and machine learning technologies. We leverage existing data from tickets, existing knowledge base, and provide a targeted support, a self-serve support, whether it's a widget, whether it's a form that can basically auto suggest answers, or it could also be that after they send an email, it could reply back with the right answer over email. So the whole idea being ability to deflect these tickets, make sure at least 20% of the support volume is answered through AI, and also let it function autonomously even without agents, and define the escalation points in a way that the bots can do as much as they can and then transfer it to the agents when needed. So we've done since 2018, we've done tons of implementations of AI for customer service, varying from different industries, uh, whether it's an airline industry, gaming, software, or e-commerce. These are all popular categories where AI has helped. So these are screenshots of our actual customer using this in a widget form to deflect a lot of questions. Now, some of these were pre-COVID. They were implemented even before COVID hit, and so those customers were in a really, really good position. As COVID hit, the FAQs changed, and the volume of requests for cancellation or changes went up went up a lot. And but they were prepared to handle that volume by simply training the AI bot to do more, and that way they could save themselves from suddenly increasing cost in a very, very uncertain economic environment. And then some customers implemented this post COVID when the volume shot up, like gaming companies and e-commerce companies, where people from home were shopping more or playing more games. They had this huge influx of demand. There was a lot of repetitive questions in nature, and and companies have wanted to keep their costs low while they're trying to deal with growing volume. They want to make sure the revenue goes up without increasing the cost. This is where um, there was a great mix of bringing AI into play with human agents. So, and with some of the data from our customer base, we've seen uh, these four industries. Just for an example purpose here, uh, I can say that as we are more consumer based, more time sensitive questions are in play, and customers come in at a much faster rate. We've seen that the higher deflection rate those industries and companies are able to achieve. Gaming, travel being on the higher end, while e-commerce, depending on whether they're selling something digital, physical, what the bot can do can vary. And all of these customers have grown to a good deflection rate week over week or month over month. So we ourselves, as a SaaS company, started at 4% deflection when we launched. That was pretty much what our 2019 number was, and right now we are at 18% deflection. Uh, and so every industry has a long tail of questions that the AI bot needs to be trained on, and that's what helps in reducing the cost. Now, the whole point of AI-based deflection is to provide agents more time so that they can do more useful things with their time and be really, really effective. And the second thing we want to do, apart from deflecting right at the customer level, is doing automation. And this is where uh, our workflow engine has enabled customers to think of workflows and processes which are multi-step. They are not just a single question and a single answer, but they're multi-step process which can be solved automatically, either through customer interaction via the bot or through agent interaction via the ticketing system or the backend that they're using. So what we've seen is with automation, whether it's RMA process or automating your escalations in a very, very sophisticated manner, we are able to boost teams' productivity and letting the right agents work on the right problems or issues. We also want to make sure agents, especially when they're staffed on peak season, where they're trained not as much as the regular agents, we want to make sure the process deviation is as little as possible. So the workflow provides like a rails for agents to kind of go through the process and steps without having to always be fully trained and fully aware of all the processes that exist. And then also trying to make sure as we switch between different tools, whether it's like a between phone system and a ticketing system or between a CRM and a support system, we want to make sure that between multiple apps, we are able to trigger events which, when AI detects, for example, when AI detects a customer is likely to churn because the sentiment score was lower, um, it can trigger an account manager to do a follow up to make sure that they are on top of that request. So you could basically enable all of these sophisticated workflows that bring multiple teams together to service a customer. And then the last thing we want agents to do is a lot of data entry. And and when they do a lot of data entry, it also results in a lot of data inconsistency or errors that can happen. So we want to make sure we can automate. For example, we can read an incoming email and identify the product in scope here and automatically update a custom field saying which product is being requested support for. And so all of that can be done automatically, which results in basically spending a lot less time, amazing amount of cost saving, and increased agent productivity. So agents will be able to respond to tickets much faster, do a lot less data entry, and get a lot more context from the ticket because the crux of the ticket has already been parsed, or they we can already identify past interactions with this customer and suggest workflows that can be triggered or responses that can be triggered. So we've seen businesses do as much as 320 plus process automation. And this is, again, you can go long tail on this and pretty much hack every single process that is repeated over time and again. And customers have seen that they automate as much as 70,000 tickets per year, where least amount of human involvement is there. So, with that said, this sets the foundation for revenue growth. And how do we take some of these basic fundamental AI and uh, pro- automation implementation and prepare for better revenue growth? Now, the first thing is we want to start thinking of customer not only at the customer service level, but more at a customer experience level, where the first interaction is essentially where AI can be brought in. So, anytime a customer is on your website, you can better qualify the customer through a bot. You can help them recommend products or take them to the next best step through AI and have them complete and convert into becoming a paying customer. And as they become a paying customer, making sure you're both training your support team and also the AI engine to deliver a great experience to customers, being there for them when required, and essentially identify ways to retain and upsell to these customers. So AI and automation give you an easier foundation where with existing team size, you can reduce the workload and implement newer strategies across the entire customer lifecycle. So that's the first takeaway is that you want to start this very early. You want to bring AI uh, very early into the process, and that's the trend that we are seeing customers do, and kind of connect that with both their advertising model, their marketing teams, and then driving that data down into with customer service teams as well. Now, one of the popular, thing is every customer churn that you can prevent is actually much better than adding a new customer. It takes a lot less effort to prevent a churn and lot less cost to prevent churn than to acquire a new customer. So if you were to um, uh, have three customers out of, like, if spending $1,000 acquiring 10 customers, $100 per customer, but three of them end up churning because the customer service experience is not best, or you're not able to serve them 24/7, or they expect a 30-minute response time because it's a very time sensitive sale, but you're only able to serve them 3 hours or 4 hours. So this is where you can lead to a lot of drop off and churn and leak in the funnel. But whereas if you had a lot of assisted AI and automation in place, you could potentially reduce that churn and have more happy customers, and they become advocate to recommend new customers to come on board. So this is a cycle when you repeat this on a per $1,000 basis and just extrapolate it to your budgets and your revenue. This has a very, very profound impact. So, having said that, there are two uh, conclusions I would want to draw in how AI and automation will help with revenue growth. Firstly, we want to identify and predict things. So AI can help predict customers who are about to churn, emails that have opportunities, or interactions that have opportunities to upsell, and tag them, identify them, and actually even measure how much of churn is likely to happen, how much of expansion is likely to happen, even before you take action on it. You can also identify trends. So let's say there was a social media post and something got viral, and you suddenly have a lot of visitors asking questions about your product, got interested in your product or service. you want to identify that trend as fast as possible. And this is by identifying either tags or phrases or patterns in an automatic way, where AI can actually tell this much sooner, and basically use that as an opportunity to uh, deploy your team in the right places at the right time. So we also want to make sure we can identify problem areas before they become too large. So let's say if there is a certain policy which leads to a higher churn of customers or poorer CSAT score, we can identify this, group this, and analyze that to find out what these are. So we want to make sure that all of this is less human effort, more predictable through AI. And with that said, making every service interaction become a revenue interaction. Every customer service agent has opportunity to uh, to service a customer in a more complex situation and solve that issue accurately, and then lead into revenue growth opportunities. So the way you want to think about revenue growth is expansion. So being able to sell more of the product that the customer has already bought over time. And this can happen if they're consistently happy with the service, they get the support as fast as they need at any point of time. It will increase the confidence for them to spend more dollars with your product. Um, Also, if you have multiple products or services, you can define a life cycle for the customer and see how much time they would need to be at each stage, and really help customer service agents nudge them on when it's time to sell the next product or cross sell a different product at the right time. So with every interaction, as the customer ages with the company, you have these opportunities open up. And if we are able to identify when is the right time, we can do a really good job. The agents can do a really good job in every service interaction, find an opportunity that exists with the customer, and utilize that opportunity. Now, obviously, as the customers themselves will start referring more if they have more positive experience. So your cost of acquiring customers is going to go down, and this is really really helpful, because if you're able to service more customers, and they with a very high CSAT score, you're basically increasing your probability of word of mouth. And last but not the least, retention. So every dollar in and saved is very valuable. And identifying the lifetime value of your customer is really important. And it's an important metric that can be, again, modeled into the AI to tell when is a time to touch base with the customer, and what proactive steps you can take to make sure customer is above and beyond the average lifetime value uh, of the customer. So, uh, with that said, we've so like HappyFox has worked on this problem, starting with the middle of the pack, where we've focused on help desk, live chat, really understood every customer interaction, trends, and help different kind of teams, and it allowed us to create two layers. And this is how you want to look at your support stack as well. So you want to make sure you have an AI product which is helping you deflect in the first place, and then analyze anything that comes through any of your channels, and then provide you insights into what can be automated, what training can be added to the AI layer to further improve all of this interaction. And making sure, uh, this cannot be a black box. You need to see how this is changing your data. How is this changing your CSAT score? How what tweaks in any of these layers are helping um, uh, with your response times, first response time, average response time with customers, and overall directly tying it into your revenue. So with the BI tool, which is primarily customer service driven but can plug in other data points, is really really helpful. And a stack like this can uh, can be really helpful in making sure you can leverage and boost your revenue through customer service. And to kind of sum it up, I would like to tell our own story on how we have grown as a company and how we actually, use our own products uh, to deliver more revenue growth coming and more improve our employee satisfaction as well. So we've grown quite a bit year over year, and our support volume has grown with us as well. So we have gone 3x of our 2018 volume. And but what we've done is, as we implemented all of these steps, we uh, tried to keep a threshold at which we want to identify more and more opportunities where we can utilize AI and automation. And so we kept a constraint that we want to keep our support team size the same, give them better opportunities and more complex problems that they are excited about solving for the customer, and be more proactive with the customer while the automation and AI is able to handle everything else. So, and through this process, we wanted to make sure we maintain our CSAT score, and we've been able to actually do that. So today we deflect 18% of support requests. We are a B2B SaaS company, so it's slightly harder. We've seen like amazing results for B2C company, but even 18% is like from 2019 numbers, we've gone from 4% to 18%. And this is a function of revenue, of knowledge, training given to the bot, and our chat handle time has gone down. Our first response time has gone down. Our churn rate has been at the lowest. Uh, and our customer service team actually delivers most of the upsell opportunities, where in fact they are able to operate without the sales team to some extent and be able to sell additional products to the customer. So yeah, with that said, I'm sure everybody has AI and automation on their roadmap, and this is a great quote from Gartner, and where every company is heading towards it. So I hope this presentation help you improve the conviction into implementing these solutions at various layers and see how it ties into not just reducing costs, but how it can be a boost to revenue. Uh, Thank you so much.
Amazing. And I am dropping the link here to happyfox.com. Everyone go ahead and check it out. Let's see, do we have any questions? I don't see any right now, but hey, drop them in the chat or in the Q&A. Looks like this is it.
I think, yeah, I see a question on lack of emotion and empathy. I think there's a fine balance between speed and emotion, and this is where AI plus humans are the perfect solution. Where the goal of AI is to enable, and when customer needs to be actually in touch with the person, give them the shortest path to get there.
Awesome. Good eye, Shalin. Thank you so much for noticing that. It's been about 10 minutes earlier when the
Absolutely.
question was asked, but I completely forgot about this. All right. Looks like this is it. We don't have any other questions here. And this has been an amazing session. Shalin, thank you so much. And I think like this is the first session about AI that we had in the event, during the event. So this was amazing. Um, Everyone, this is it. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you so much for your
Thank you so much.
participation. And we will see you in the next event because this is the first event, not the last one. We will do so many more other events in the future. And for all the partners and speakers, thank you so much. Everyone will get a notification about the replays that are going to be available and emailed to everyone. And we will see you again really soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.